Hi, I haven't told you guys yet about my weird um, obsession with politics since I was a little girl. And it's like, it's not that I'm rooting for them, I'm fascinated by the process. And this time around, oh boy, with Nikki Haley running and Vivek Ramaswamy, he really called her out on a lot of things, including double standard, the double standard that women have. And I was like, this is amazing. You never see anybody say that ever. And I wanted there to be more news about it. Anyway, everybody, covered the highlights and everything, and I watched it. It's embarrassing, but I actually watched the debate 3 times maybe, because I watched it like with Tim Pool's commentary, and I watched it with, can't remember who else's commentary, but it was very interesting to me, and I just wanted to catch it. Anyway, welcome back to Far From Eden. This is something we haven't really talked about before. We don't really talk about politics, and it's not going to really be politics. I'm not going to be like, this is who you should vote for, and because I think a lot of you know how I feel about women voting. But anyway, that's beside the point. Sorry, it's Sunday and got the obligatory messy bun. But anyway, we're gonna watch this together. We're just gonna hang out. I will start doing lives eventually when I get bold. Last time I broke down. So let's go ahead and see what we can expose about women. Are they ready for, politics? Are they ready for being president? What is going on in this society? Alrighty. So it's highlights. I don't know what all they included. Didn't watch this section. I just didn't want anybody else talking. So I bet they probably get all the good parts. So let's take a look. Oh, you know what? I'm kind of blind. I just recently made it so I can actually see some things.
He started off his campaign by saying, I am your retribution. 8 years ago, he said, I am your voice. This is an angry...
He's talking about Trump, obviously. But what I notice with this is we're going to look at this in a whole, gender politics type of way, and want to talk about the female aspects of this. So he's talking about Trump, right? But what he's doing is he's talking about a boogeyman. He like Trump, don't like Trump, whatever it is. Chris Christie, right now, this big guy, Chris Christie, is talking about a boogeyman. He is trying to scare people. He's trying to scare the women. All of these politicians, they all pander to women because that is who the useful idiots are. That's how they can get feelings. It's not the African American community. They are 13% of the population. Not that their voice doesn't matter, but the way these politicians look at it, they go, okay, who can we convince to vote for us, and who is 51% of the population? So that'd be why he's scaring people right now.
Every bitter man who now wants to be back as president because he wants to exact retribution on anyone who has disagreed with him, anyone who has tried to hold him to account for his own conduct. And every one of these policies that he's talking about are about pursuing a plan of retribution. And yet, at the first debate, my 3 colleagues on this stage, when asked if he would be convicted of federal felonies, would they still support him, raised their hand, looked into the camera, and let everybody know that they would still support him, even if convicted of federal felonies. Federal felonies, by the way. Federal felonies, which involve our election process, federal felonies.
I watched it so many times, I hadn't noticed that part where Vivek's like, I'd still pardon him. It's just funny. I love it that he does not give a dang. And it's refreshing. Because like I said, I've been a junkie, fascinated about this. I'm fascinated because I feel like it's a show, it's a play, and they're all characters. I know that's a little conspiracy minded, whatever, or you can just look at it like It's entertaining. So,
which involve the most sensitive of our governmental secrets, federal felonies where he instructed others to commit crimes, folks who are now agreeing to go to jail because of what they did in his name. So do I think he was kidding when he said he was a dictator? All you have to do is look at the history. And that's why failing to speak out against
look at the history. All you have to do is look at the history. He's trying to scare people. Look at the history. What's the history? He was president, and he wasn't a dictator then. And when he didn't win the election, he stepped down. Pretty sure there was no, murdering of vast amounts of people side. Like, what is it? This is scary. Like, be scared, be afraid. Woo! But it works. It totally works. On women, it does work. Gosh.
him, making excuses for him, pretending that somehow he's a victim, empowers him. You want to know why those poll numbers are where they are? Because folks like these three guys on the stage make it seem like his conduct is acceptable. Let me make it clear. His conduct is unacceptable. He's unfit, and be careful of what you're going to get. If you ever got another Donald Trump term, he's letting you know, I am your retribution. He will only be, Elizabeth, he will only be his own retribution. He doesn't care for the American people. It's Donald Trump first.
Foreign policy experience is not the same as foreign policy wisdom. I want everybody at home to know that I was the first person to say we need a reasonable peace deal in Ukraine. Now a lot of the neocons are quietly coming along to that position, with the exceptions of Nikki Haley and Joe Biden, who still support this, what I believe is pointless war in Ukraine. And I think those with foreign policy experience, one thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for.
Look at her face. Her face, yes, he's going to talk about how it's blank because she doesn't know provinces, which is hilarious. And he knew she wouldn't know them. And that's hilarious. But her face, she has to be so careful, right? Because she's a woman, so she's got to be like, I am strong and I can take it. But she knows if it's too much of that, then she won't be liked, like Hillary Clinton. So she's struggling with what to emote out of her face, which fascinates me. But you will see a lot of times with women, when I look at women, I just see masks. I just see a performance all the time. And then this is like right here, that's what we're seeing. She's struggling, like she's like, I need to not be like, I don't need to make a hateful face. But so this is the struggle of her face.
Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, she has no idea what the hell the names of those provinces are, but she wants to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight it. So reject this myth that they've been selling you, that somebody had a cup of coffee stint at the UN and then makes $8 million after, has real foreign policy experience.
She just said that she had a cup of coffee at the UN and now she thinks she has foreign policy experience because she's on a board somewhere. She's totally propped up by those interests. It's clear. And she has no idea. Nikki Haley has obviously been seduced by money and power and told that she's the only one that can lead the country and she's they have blown smoke and she has eaten it up, power. It's kind of like a tree of fruit and a snake. But what's also funny is you watch Chris Christie. Like, I think he came in, he's there, he's the muscle. Like, he's there to, rag on Donald Trump because they know no one's going to vote for Chris Christie and they don't want to let it hurt they don't want it to hurt DeSantis or Haley. So they can't dog on Trump. So Christie came to dog on Trump and protect the precious Nikki Haley. She's so tough and she's so smart and she's all this. She's going to be president, but she's got to have this guy over here who can't even stand up. He's got to lean on the podium. He's trying to make it look like it's just casual. It's like, no, it's not. You can't stand up and you're there as the muscle. That's all it is, which is hilarious because it's like, can't you fight your own battles, Nikki? Why do you need a man to do that? I love it. I love it so much.
It takes an outsider to see this through. Look at the blank expression. She doesn't know the names of the provinces that she wants to actually fight for. And there's her.
You know, his reasonable peace deal in Ukraine, he made it clear. Give them all the land they've already stolen. Promise Putin you'll never put Ukraine in Russia, and then trust Putin not to have a relationship with China.
Nobody can win a war against Russia. Think about it. Russia didn't have a dog in the fight in World War I, but they were convinced to, go ahead and get involved, and they lost more than anybody else in World War I. Russia doesn't lose. Now, you might say, well, what about Afghanistan? The reason Russia doesn't lose is because they go, yeah, no. And Afghanistan was the smart thing to say, we're no longer going to pursue this. But who knows what their true intentions were and what really happened? We don't know. But all I know is you're not going to win a war against Russia unless you're going to let every single one of your populace die, because they will not stop. It's just historically who Russia is as a country. But it's not like any of these people know, because nobody studies actual history.
Let me tell you something. That's no
That's
reasonable.
not my deal. That's not my deal,
Yes,
Chris.
it's exactly what you
I'll
said.
describe
You
my
do
deal
this
to
at
you.
every debate.
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Don't
I'll
interrupt
tell
me.
you
I
what the
didn't
deal is.
interrupt you. Okay? You
Tell
say
them
this.
about how you want to send our kids to die.
You
Go
do
for
this
it.
at every debate. You go out on the stump and you say something. All of us see it on video. We confront you on the debate stage. You say you didn't say it, and then you back away. And I want to
I'll tell
say
you
what?
That has never happened. He has never said, I never said it. What Chris Christie just said is just not, that just doesn't happen. I thought I'd just let you know, in case you're not a junkie with this stuff like I am. Like, that never happened. He never did that. I mean, I'm not like pro Vivek. I'm not trying to tell people to vote for him. I'm just saying he didn't say that.
Exactly what I said, Chris.
I'm not done yet.
Well, this
Now
is
look.
This is
And here's
nonsense. His name is spewing. His name is spewing nonsense.
Let me tell you something. This is the fourth debate that you would be voted in the first 20 minutes as the most obnoxious blowhard in America. So
Was he looking in the mirror? The most obnoxious blowhard in America? Hello. And also in the previous debate, Nikki Haley called Vivek scum. She goes, you're just scum. Like, ad hominem attacks. Really? Okay. Because they don't have anything else.
shut up for a little while.
I'm gonna respond to that. This is your version of
We're gonna let you respond to that. We're gonna let you respond to that.
I'll take that.
I want to say something else. We're now 25 minutes into this debate, and he has insulted Nikki Haley's basic intelligence, not her positions, her basic intelligence. She doesn't know regions. She wouldn't be able to find something on a map that.
Yeah. And he did. He insulted her intelligence. So what? What's wrong with that? It's a debate. Why wouldn't he? Is it a problem because she's a woman? Chris Christie, should he not do that because she's a woman?
His 3-year-old could find. Look, if you want to disagree on issues, that's fine. And Nikki and I disagree on some issues. But I'll tell you this, I've known her for 12 years, which is longer than he's even started to vote in a Republican primary.
That's not an insult, because these people that have been, in the whole machine for all this time, that's not a compliment, you guys. Like, you're not doing a good job. So he didn't even vote yet. Then it's like, no, because he was busy making billions of dollars.
And while we disagree about some issues and we disagree about who should be president of the United States, what we don't disagree on is this is a smart, accomplished woman. You should stop insulting
So
her.
I'm going to take this.
Look at her little demure face. She's very like, what is that? What is it? Okay? That is acting. That's not how she really feels. I guarantee you she's actually very pissed off. She's got one guy calling her out. She's got another guy protecting her. Like, he's not protecting DeSantis. Why not? And so how do these women who say we need to be treated equally and we are just as strong as men and just as capable as men, really? This? No. This is not. Is this the best you got, ladies? Really? No, we don't belong here. And if you disagree with me, please provide an example of a woman where you can go, she's, she's got it together.
Your time's over. So first of all, I think we just learned something from Chris Christie. We learned three things. We learned three things right there. First of all, Chris Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants us to fight for. Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York.
Yeah.
So do everybody a favor, just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal, and get the hell out of this race.
Let me tell you.
When it comes to Nikki, I think if you're...
Though, I mean, this is rich, because when she was governor of South Carolina, she was the #1 ranked governor of bringing the CCP into her state. She wrote a love letter to the Chinese.
Women love communism. Can't have communism without feminism. Did you know that? Did you know that one of the first things to happen right before the Bolshevik Revolution was successful was they came in, they were like, okay, no fault divorce is a thing. It was one of the first things. I'm trying to remember, it was 1917, 1919, something like that. Yeah, it was one of the first things they did. You're gonna tell those women to think for themselves so we can tell them what to think and tell them to trust the government, because everything should be fair. Everyone should have the same.
Ambassador saying how great a friend China is. You can look at it. We put it on our website, rondesantis.com. There's also a video of her as governor standing in front of a Chinese flag with a Chinese business saying that she now works for them, talking about this Chinese company. So she's been very weak on China. Now, here's the problem. The rhetoric is different, but her donors, these Wall Street liberal donors, they make money in China. They are not going to let her be tough on China, and she will cave to the donors. She will not stand up for.
I just realized something. We're watching these highlights. Have we heard her talk yet? Or am I sniffing glue? What? Has she said anything? I don't think so.
For you.
15 seconds, Ambassador. First of all, he's mad because those Wall Street donors used to support him and now they support me. The second thing is he has a company.
Nanny, nanny, nanny. Was that what she just did? All right. You're just mad because they used to support you, and now they support me. You lose. Oh my God. Female nature.
A Chinese company, UGAS, that he just did a rally there last year. They have given you $340,000 in campaign
It's an
donations
American company.
between them and their employees. They are tied to the Communist Chinese Party. Jinko Solar is another one. They went and expanded. You gave $2 million in subsidies.
I banned China from buying land in the state of
and
Florida.
The Department of
I
Homeland
ejected the Confucius Institute. Nikki Haley brought Confucius Institutes to the universities in South Carolina.
That is not true.
I ejected them. So I have a record of standing up and do what's right. And here's the thing.
You have a record of lying.
She's trying to say things like that. Even the liberal media groups.
So the other thing, she's really, I've watched like all the debates since like 1988. And like, she's just like, that is not true. I've never heard anybody say that in a debate. And then you have a record of lying. This is like that's a third grade debate, people. Third grade. And if a dude said that, people would be like, what is the matter? But she says it, nobody notices. You know why? Because nobody expects more. I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
That usually if I say the sky is blue, they'll fact check me and say that's wrong. They looked at her charges. They said it was totally false, that they could not find one instance of me recruiting a Chinese business coming to Florida. You know why? Because we never recruited any Chinese businesses to the state of Florida.
Thank you. Thank you.
North Star here is transgenderism is a mental health disorder. We don't let you smoke a cigarette by the age of 18. We don't let you have an addictive drink of alcohol by the age of 21. And I just challenge Ron DeSantis to go one step further and support what I think is clearly within the authority to do, using federal funds just like Reagan did in '84 for the Highway Act that said the minimum drinking age needs to be 21. We can do the same thing when it comes to banning genital mutilation or chemical castration.
Okay.
I know Ron's been unclear about that on the
Ambassador
federal
Haley.
level. I'm crystal clear. That's where I stand.
Got
And
it.
that's a mental health disorder. That's where we need to be at.
Okay, well, Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about that a little bit. If I can figure out my computer. There we go. Okay, let's talk about this. There was a part they didn't show, which I had a feeling they wouldn't, because it's the part that's the best part. If I find it, I'll put it in a short. But I remember what he said. Because he talked about how at the last debate, Nikki Haley had accused him of having a problem with women because he called out the leader of the Republican National Committee or whatever. I forget what her name is, but he called her out, called out Nikki Haley, and called out, like, I think Kristen, whoever the moderator was. Not all in a row, just in that debate. And then she told him he had a problem with women, and it was like, what are you talking about? Maybe this was this debate. Anyway, she told him that. And then, sorry, my dog wants to have all the attention when I'm talking to you guys. So I will try to ignore her. Anyway, she accused him, Haley accused Vivek of having a problem with women. And he said back to her, I am tired of the fact that when you have 2 X chromosomes, you cannot be criticized. You cannot be critiqued. Sorry. I can't remember the exact words, but it was amazing. It was like, if you're a woman, we can't, we're not allowed to criticize you. We're not allowed to confront you. We're not allowed to say anything. Everything's just perfect. And I was like, oh my God, that's the best part. And of course, probably not going to see it anywhere, but he totally said it. And it felt so good. Because you know what, women, all of you, if you want to play, if you want to be in a man's world and compete in a man's world, which it is, that's what life is. It's cutthroat. You're going to have confrontation. You're going to be challenged. That's what it is. If you're going to step out into that, you better be ready for it. You don't get to call, oh my God, misogyny. Oh my God, you have a problem with women. It's like, well, do you have a problem with men? Because you're talking to a lot of them. Like, it's so ridiculous. But anyway, so I don't know. I mean, none of them are going to be president. It's just, for me, fun to watch debates and see, what people are willing to call out and how, like, she was clearly unprepared. She was clearly had certain things she knew to say, but as far as like thinking on her feet and really being able to argue and really having information and a full understanding of whatever it is she's supposed to stand for, she clearly doesn't have that. But you're not allowed to criticize her, and she needed to have her very own like bodyguard guy stand next to her. I mean, it's obvious to me. I sometimes feel like when I'm watching things just in life, I'm like, the emperor has no clothes on, you guys. And everyone else is like, oh, what a lovely outfit he's wearing. And I'm like, he's naked. And I'm sure a bunch of you feel like that too. Like, we can see things that other people are just not seeing or they're in denial of. But anyway, I hope you at least enjoyed that a little bit. Like I said, I can never get enough of this kind of politics and stuff. I try to have a laugh with it because, as I was talking about in my short earlier that I released about the fall of Rome, I too see the direction of things. So, just kind of once in a while find a way to have a chuckle while it all burns. So it's kind of my twisted way of looking at it. Thanks for joining me on this one. Please hit like. I always say it at the end. People probably aren't watching anymore. And I will check it. I will check and see if I can find that spot from the debate where he said about having 2 X chromosomes. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you.